Who am I but an orphan? The way I see God is distorted. In my life, who's supporting? Who am I? I'll break down, don't even bother, cuz I'm awake now because the Father does. And it's obvious that I'm confused, cuz I get this less than my daughter does. She knows what daddy and mommy does.
Dale Skinner is my name. Fatherhood podcast short. Thank you for joining us on today. If you want to listen to any of our previous episodes, search the name About This Love. It's the podcast my wife and I do together. We put the Fatherhood podcast under that name, under that logo, and you can listen. You can find it anywhere where podcasts can be found. I'll definitely leave the link to the description to that as well. On our previous episode, I spoke about as a father and as a man, head of our families, knowing when to pivot. On this episode, I wanted to speak about having other men or people in our lives. So it could be a man or a woman, someone you trust, someone. I always like to say someone who's more mature than you, who would hold you accountable, but also be there just to counsel you in your times of need. And of course, it could be your wife, but oftentimes it's usually another person outside of your wife. Because when things get difficult, you gotta start getting to small disputes or big disputes. You're not going to your wife, for counseling. I know for me, over my life, there's been times when I've contemplated doing different things that would have changed the course of my life and my wife's life and our children as well. I've always had those mature people who are sound that I can go to, who are not yes men. One of the things that I always tell people is when it comes to someone being in your life who's going to hold you accountable and also encourage you, I hope it's not a yes man or a yes woman, because they tend to agree with you, and they can, if you're not careful, they can be the cause of you, just making foolish decisions in your life. So I just know for myself, it's always been a few different people in my life who I trust, and I'm a believer in Christ. So it's always been men who are more mature than me, who have been married longer than me, who I can always go to and seek counsel. And I thank God that they've always told me the truth. Man, you're tripping, man. I know, what your wife may have done, A, B, C, and D, but you're tripping. Or even when me and my wife made the decision to buy a house, it was right before COVID, and we didn't know it was going to be COVID. But when the year we bought our house in October of 2019, and of course, you all know the rest is history. In 2020, COVID was full blown. It was rampant. So that was a decision that I also sought counsel for as well. And when I say sometimes when I say seek counsel, it's not always like asking somebody for permission or asking someone what you should do, but sometimes it's just having someone you can talk to and listen to you. So if you're gonna make a foolish decision, they can say, I don't think that's very wise, or I don't know if I would do it that way. You might want to rethink how you're gonna do something. And I know in today's culture, where a lot of people, it just seems like sometimes we are around people who echo our same thought process, or our same whatever we got going on. And they have a saying that the birds of a feather flock together. And I think that could be a good thing in some aspects. Like if I have a partner or a buddy of mine who's good in business, and I'm trying to make business moves, that definitely would be a good individual to have around, so I can make wise business decisions. But then that same person might not be they might not be in a committed relationship. they might be an individual who likes to have different men or different women. So in that instance, I don't think it would be wise to go to them if I have issues, issues with me and my wife or things like that, because they may steer me in the wrong direction. They may not. You know, but that's just something that I've learned over the years of my life. I've always thought it wise to have counsel. I am also the voice of reason to a lot of um, my friends and family members who may need advice about something, and I try to always put myself in that person's place so that I don't say something to them that they might regret, or that they'll say something to them that I might regret, and they also might regret as well. But one of the things that I've learned about having wise counsel from me and from myself and others that I have spoken to, who I've given advice to, is that sometimes it's like a lifeline that God throws you, and when you look back, you're like, man, I'm glad I listened to them. I'm glad I actually went to them before I made this decision. Or I'm glad I actually took the time to hear what they were saying, even though at the time I was angry, I was mad because they wasn't saying what I wanted them to say, or they might have agreed with my wife, or might have agreed with whoever whoever I was at odds with. They agree with them. Um, and one of the things I've learned over the years, I'm 33 years old. One of the things that I've learned, um, which is very uncomfortable while I was learning, is I've had to be that person that listened to people even when I didn't like people. Because sometimes I feel like what we do is, because I don't like you, I won't listen to what you're saying, or what you're saying may not be true, or what you're saying, and sometimes it's if it comes out in a disrespectful manner. But one of the things that I've had to do, now that I'm older, is I actually listen to people, because I believe that even if someone doesn't like me, even if someone doesn't necessarily um, agree with my thinking, or with my lifestyle, usually to some degree, when people say things, it's usually true to some extent. Now, I'm not saying they may call you lazy and you're a hard worker on the job. I ain't telling. I'm just saying, like, you can usually discern what someone's saying and it's not true. But also I've had to swallow hard pills when people say things to me like, man, is that true? And then when I go back and I think about it, man, they're actually telling the truth. And even though they don't, because what we would do is we'll try to invalidate someone because we know they don't like us, or we don't like them. But I think it takes a mature person to be able to be like, hmm, wow, that's true. I don't like them, they don't like me, but that's true. I don't think that every time something is said to us that is truthful is going to come from somebody that we like or somebody that we love. Sometimes, in most cases, I think that it doesn't come from people that they don't like us. And most of the time, I think people that don't like us, they tell us how it is because they don't like us, so that they don't have any reason to hold back, or to guard what they say. Versus someone that loves me, they might tell me something that I need to hear, but they might say it in a way that's moves my ego. So I just I've had the appreciation over my years of being a father, being a husband, to appreciating people who in my life who are much mature than me, who could give me advice about things. And it has probably saved my marriage. It's probably saved my sanity. It's probably saved my bank account. I'll tell you a story real quick. I probably said this before on one of my previous podcasts, but years ago, I used to want to be an audio engineer, and a gentleman who is like a father to me. He's a father to me. He's not my natural father, but he's a father figure. He's a father figure to me. This is years ago. I was 21, 22. I was going to go to school for audio engineering for people that don't know what that is, people who are like behind the soundboards and rappers and artists in the studio, I was gonna be that guy. And it was a lot of money. It was a lot of money. And he said to me, you know, I have a friend who's an audio engineer. He has his own, studio, a small studio. If you wanna go, I can contact him for you, so you can kind of go with the studio when he records and kind of just see what he does. But he was like, I don't think it's a very good idea to spend that kind of money going to school to be an audio engineer, because one, you can learn the stuff you can learn the stuff on yourself. You can buy books and watch YouTube videos and really just pick up on the stuff yourself. And I'm assuming he said that because he has a friend who's an audio engineer who does it for a living. And when I began to research what audio engineers make coming out of college, I'm sorry, excuse me. If you can even find a job, it can be very difficult to find a job, and that they're not that back then they wasn't really paid a whole lot of money when they got out of college, So I decided just to take his advice, and I did that. I bought some studio gear, a lot which I still have. I'm in my studio right now. A lot which I still have right now. To today, I have my first pair of studio monitors that I have. I have I have a mixer board, just things that I bought a long time ago. And over the years, I watched YouTube videos. I took intern jobs in different local studios in the District of Columbia and outside of DC and certain parts of Maryland. I also went to the studio with his buddy, and I watched how he worked. I watched what he did. I watched YouTube videos, and to this day, I'm an excellent audio engineer. I started off one of the things that I started doing once I got skilled enough is I started to take on clients for free just to have the experience. And I mixed albums. I mastered some albums, and I've mastered and mixed a lot of my own projects that I've done over the years, and it paid off. I started one of the ways that I learned how to edit audio is that I used to record the sermons at the local church I used to go to, and I would learn how to the pastor gave me he would give me the responsibility to record the sermons and upload them to their website or whatever site they use, and he would upload them to the website. That's how I started to edit audio, and from there, I did it for a while. I did music for a while, but it got to a point where I didn't think music was very lucrative, so I stopped doing music and I started doing podcasts. I did. That's one of the reasons why. If you guys listen to me on my wife's podcast about this love, wow, it sounds so good. I'm an audio engineer. I know how to edit audio. I know what plugins to use for this and use for that. And oftentimes people come to me when they want to start a podcast, and if they want me to listen to a song or something, say, hey, can you listen to this? Do you know what it needs, or do you know what it's missing? I mean, well, yeah, I hear this, or it sounds like it's a little bit too loud, or it sounds like it's not loud enough, or it sounds like you add a little EQ, or add a compressor, or maybe add an echo to it, or reverb or something. So that's just an example that I gave. It was a long-winded story, but it's a perfect example of a time that somebody gave me advice about something, and it saved me thousands of dollars. Saved me a lot of money. You know, if I hadn't had listened to them, I'd have still been paying debt to this day. So that's just a perfect example of having sound advice. I pray that if you're watching this video, I pray that you have someone in your life that can be that person can be that person who's mature and able to give you sound good advice. And able to tell you things you don't want to hear. So thank you for listening to the Fatherhood podcast. Again, you can find it on all the major platforms where podcasts can be found. Search About This Love to find the Fatherhood podcast. My name is Dale Skinner. Until next time, peace.